Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And we're coming near to the end of this marathon that is the Rutherglen and Hamilton West by-election. There are but 2 days to go until the election. So in 3 days, on Friday, I'll do my last story, hopefully about the place, and the last time we'll ever mention Katy Loudon, with any luck. However, we have here a story, now that we're getting there, which is very much pot calling kettle black. Katy Loudon has said that the Labour campaign has been very negative and that the Labour Party candidate has been spreading untruths. Well, there's been nobody more negative than the SNP campaign. Katy Loudon has never been able to say anything positive. She can't stand on her record. She can't stand on the record of the SNP. So everything has been attack Labour. But when they do it back, ooh, she doesn't like that, does she? Well, we'll take a look at the story, see what's going on, and see why this story is going to meander down to a very quiet end. And come Thursday, we'll follow it all and then watch the results as they come in. And you'll get it here first, folks. I will do the first video the moment the announcement is made. And so, you'll either be there with me and watching it, or as soon as you get up on Friday morning, you'll see the result published first. Anyway, we'll take a look, see what's going on, and see why Katy Loudon is so desperate to win this election, even though she knows and everyone else knows it's all over. Here goes. So, SNP by-election candidate defends Ferrier and accuses Labour of spreading untruths. So she's defending a woman who lied and who broke the rules, while at the same time saying Labour are telling untruths. How can you defend a liar and claim other people are telling the lies? It's very weird, isn't it? Also, she's the woman, of course, you dropped like a hot potato as soon as you found out that she had broke the rules. Always describes her as your former friend, so no loyalty there. Look at the false smiles in that image. It's like they all know they're going to lose, but they're all going to smile anyway. Honestly, it's like the rictus of death, isn't it? Absolutely is. Especially for Jenny on the right. Poor old Jenny. She's not going anywhere, is she? Her days are numbered too, because she's not very bright. Anyway, the SNP's candidate in Rutherglen and Hamilton West by-election has defended Margaret Ferrier after Labour claimed the constituency had been without proper representation for years. Well, of course it hasn't. Hasn't had proper representation ever since the SNP won the election. Katy Loudon said the COVID rule-breaking MP had been working for her constituents over the last 3 years, just not working very well or very hard. In a wide-ranging interview with PA, Press Association, the councillor accused her rival of untruth and misdirection. I'm presuming PA is... That's not Press and Journal, is it? That's P&J. No, it must be Press Association. Anyway, Labour said the SNP's record in government meant there was little surprise that the party was running a negative campaign. But of course it's got to. Can't run a positive one at all. How can any candidate for the SNP sit there and say, look at the SNP's record on, and then pick a subject? Health? Least said about that, the better. The economy? Nope. Taxation? Nope. Communications? Nope. Social care? Nope. You name it. Every single thing. Policy. Fail. Fail after fail after fail. Taxes up. Services cut. You cannot defend the SNP. So all you've got left is a negative campaign. And if you can't build your own candidate up, all you can do is tear the others down. Tear your opposition down. And that's what she is doing, because that is all she's got. Both First Minister Humza Yousaf and Scottish Labour leader Anna Sawar are due on the campaign trail today. And Scottish Green convener Lorna Slater will be out tomorrow night on the eve of the polls opening. Oh God, you poor buggers. On top of everything else, years of having an SNP MP, then she goes and breaks the rules and quits. And now, on top of all that, you've got Lorna Slater coming to see you. My heart goes out. I don't care what you've done. You don't deserve that. The people of Rutherglen don't deserve that. Anyway, the by-election was sparked after voters in the South Lanarkshire seat ousted Miss Ferrier in a recall petition following her suspension from Parliament. And this seems such a long time ago. This has been going on for months upon months upon months, hasn't it? It's like forever. And still, 2 days to go and we can put it all behind us. The ex-MP was found guilty of willfully exposing her constituents to the risk of infection, illness and death. Death from SNP. Anyway, that was back in 2020. Though she had the SNP whip removed, she sat in the Commons as an independent, although always voted with the SNP in the vain hope that one day they'd take her back, and they probably would have come the next election. With Labour's campaign calling for a fresh start, the constituency, one of the frequent criticisms from the party has been that voters have been left without proper representation. Well, they haven't. They haven't actually had a proper MP for 6 months now. But even prior to that, having an SNP MP isn't really proper representation, is it? Because as Katy Loudon said, they don't represent the constituents. They only represent the party. She said she'd follow the party regardless, which means if you are one of her constituents, well, tough. It doesn't matter if you've got a problem. If it goes against what the SNP want, she's not going to help you. Earlier this week, Mr Shanks said the seat had been left voiceless in Parliament for far too long. And in an interview with PA, Miss Loudon said that that was inaccurate. She said it's not true to say that the area hasn't had an MP. They've had an independent MP who, as far as I know, was working for them during that time. Yeah, as far as you know, but then you don't know much because you dropped her. She wasn't your friend anymore. You never spoke to her. The story of this by-election is about contrast, she said. Not just about what happened 3 years ago. It's about what's happening just now. And Labour are offering nothing. But you're offering less than nothing. You're offering more of the same, which is to take away services and to charge people more for the privilege. So perhaps nothing is exactly what the people of Rutherglen would rather have. Miss Loudon also criticised comments made by Mr Shanks in the Herald on Saturday, when he said the SNP had hardly shown up to the fight. Well, no, a lot of the big guns in the SNP just never went near, didn't want to help, didn't want to be associated with someone who's going to lose the election. They knew straight up, oh God, she's going to win. I don't want to get my picture taken with a loser. I don't want the grime, as it were, guilty by association and all that. You know, because victory has 1,000 fathers, but, you know, defeat is an orphan. Miss Loudon told the PA, I was described as being parachuted into a constituency where I've lived for 14 years. It's a nonsense. And to say that we've not been out on the doorstep, there's a lot of untruth and misdirection just now. We haven't been out much though, have you? They're not being straight with people about what's going on in this area. Well, neither of you. And they're not being straight with people about what they're going to do for this area. Well, they're probably not going to put taxes up. They're probably not going to cut services. Miss Loudon said she'd happily speak out on issues which disproportionately impacted her constituents. And that's a lie. That is a lie because the other day she said she was only going to do what the party wanted. So now she's just literally looking you in the face and lying. She says, I'm not shy to come forward and I've got the ear of the First Minister. Apparently she's got him on speed dial. But as I pointed out before, nobody's got speed dial anymore unless they've got a Nokia. And the only people who've got Nokia are dealers and criminals because they don't want to be tracked by GPS. You know what I'm saying here? Responding, Mr Shanks said, while other parties have been relentlessly negative in their campaigns, Scottish Labour has been focused on the priorities of the people of Rutherglen and Hamilton West. Blah, 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 blah. He's more politicking, don't care. Meanwhile, the Scottish Greens by-election candidate didn't know they had one. Well, no, I knew they had one. I didn't know who it was. Cameron Eady. No, don't know if that's a Mr Cameron Eady or a Mrs Cameron Eady. It could be either, let's face it. Said voters in Rutherglen and Hamilton, given the SNP and the Greens policy, it could be a Mr Cameron Eady who's a lady or a Mrs Cameron Eady who's a man. You never know. So that's one of those names that could be either way, and indeed so could the candidate. Anyway, it said people should Hamilton West the people of Hamilton West, Rutherglen and Hamilton West, should put people and planet at the top of the agenda by electing the first ever Scottish Green MP. Nobody in their right mind will ever vote an a Green MP in Scotland. They've looked at what you've done from being ministers on the list. You think they're going to give you a constituency? Good God, you're deluded. Anyway, I'll round up and come up. Can you imagine the sheer horror of waking up next Friday morning, turning on the TV, opening the paper, whatever it is, turning on YouTube and watching this channel to find out the result of the by-election and by some strange miracle they've voted in a Green MP? I tell you, the house prices would drop as so many people would be putting their houses up for sale, trying to get out of the area. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button. I'm definitely worth it, in my mind. And please hit like for the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. And remember, we've got a couple more days. Friday morning, you'll get it here first. I will be the first one out. As soon as the result is announced, I will be up within seconds. So stand by to see what I'm going to say. But do watch the rest of them. Watch every video until then, because, hey, we need you, and we will provide you with as much truth as we can. Till then, bye-bye.